Hello. Hello, all of you. This is Geeks Assembled, and we're talking today about a set of adventures with unit between our Brigadier's daughter and our fangirl Osgood. So in this, it's called Unit Encounters, and it's 4 separate encounters with 4 separate aliens, and sort of, you know, the wrap up of it is that they are all they're all sort of let in by this this anger of the Daleks. Anyway, it's a really cool thing, and I just wanted to. It's like 4 hours long, 4 hours 30 long. So just out of curiosity, what did you think, Lee?
Well, to be honest, we've reviewed 4 box sets of Unit before this. This is the 5th box set. And I've got to admit, this one is very lackluster. The saving grace for this box set out of the 4 stories was the final story. I really enjoyed the last story.
The mirror universe.
The false negative story. The other 3 stories, meh, just didn't do anything for me.
You say meh?
I just meh.
Hey, again, oh my god! Wow.
I mean, the first one, the Dalek Transaction, that's just a reworking of Dalek. It's just it is. It's Dalek.
And it references Dalek. I mean, there's all this stuff about talking about Utah.
Yeah, so I thought, well, what's the point of that? It's just the same story.
I gotta tell you, I was afraid that Adam was going to show up in it. I was like, are they gonna mention him? We don't talk about him.
No, we don't talk about him.
Okay.
The second story, what was it? Invocation. Just didn't grab me at all.
It was a ghost story, though.
It was a ghost story in ways, ghost demon story. Just didn't do it for me. Didn't grab me. I wasn't interested, to be honest. The Sontaran Project, cloning story, but about a mad scientist who's captured a Sontaran and is cloning because it's a clone race.
He figured out that by talking to him that he was capable of performing these cloning.
Yeah.
Projects.
I don't know. The story, I said, just didn't grab me again. I mean, that's surprising because it was written by Andrew Smith, and he knows his Doctor Who.
Yeah.
He's written quite a few good stories, but this one. But as I said, for me, False Negative, an amazing story, blew me away. Because of the parallel universe thing, the 2 Osgoods, the 2 Joshes, the comedy elements in this, the action in there.
That was great. There was the comedy was priceless.
Yeah. The backwards and forwards of it all. I thought that's the. I mean, it's. I mean, I don't often diss Big Finish, but it's so disappointing that your expectations are so high for something. Because this is the first time I've listened to this, and I was let down 3 times for the first 3 stories, but then boom, the 4th story turned it around for me.
Mm-hmm.
It's just a shame about the other stories in this box set. I mean, I know you must probably be totally opposite of me.
No, not totally opposite, but I did enjoy it. I wasn't.
I do enjoy listening to it.
I did have trouble getting my hands on it to begin with. I was in a waiting pattern for a while, and then and also once I did get it, it's $25 on $25 US dollars on Big Finish. Um, the other thing is that I was fighting my tech the whole time. I've just been like fighting my tech both on this old laptop of mine and then on some new headphones and stuff. It's fairly frustrating. So anyway, so I fought my way through, and because I was more interested, because it was more like, I was being interrupted all the time, I'd go back and listen to a little bit more of it, and
I
yeah.
mean,
So
to have four amazing box sets before this, great storylines. It did. I was quite surprised how it took a dive for me.
yeah,
And I was quite, I was a bit disheartened by it because Big Finish are always on top of the game. I don't know. So some people out there must absolutely love this, but just I don't know. So it just didn't grab. I don't know. There's something about this box set what's not for me.
yeah, right. The the Dalek story, the fact that they uh, you know they were talking about having a Dalek, the Dalek from Utah, the
Yeah,
same one, and even after he self-destructed, I mean, he was basically vaporized, wasn't he?
yeah.
And where did all the parts go? This you know this I don't know why that I mean, they did think that they could just, slot him in before he disintegrated, but, it was the same.
Yeah, it was just to me. It was just a total retelling of Dalek. Same thing, a Dalek weapons taken off him, captured.
Yep,
I think, wow, nothing new.
yep.
I mean, if you're gonna, I mean, rehashing ideas like that, people will realise.
They did realize, and it wasn't, and because the whole thing had the possibility of dragging, the one character that from season one, series one,
Mm.
we that we don't talk about, Adam. Yeah, Adam. All right, I'll stop talking about it. Anyway, the important thing is that because it brought that whole situation to mind a lot.
Hmm.
You know, what are we gonna do? And I did. I know you don't like Dalek stories at all to begin with, so you just have had it up to you're fed to the teeth with Dalek stories. So I knew you'd be in that at least in that frame of mind. Once I heard that.
Well, to be honest, my hatred for Daleks didn't really come into this story. It was just I listened to it all the way through, and I just thought, well, they've just ripped off Dalek. They haven't said anything new. So it was very disappointing for me, anyway.
Yep, that's right. And yeah, the second story was all about ghosts, the ghosts in the machine, and the ghosts.
What's it called? Invocation.
Addiction. Yeah.
Yeah, that to me. I mean, I listened to it during the week, and to be honest, now I can't even remember a thing about it. So it didn't hit, didn't stick with me that story either.
Yeah. Okay.
So
Hang on a second. Yeah. Let's see. And so the overseer, let me see. Okay, this one had to do with and the way that these aliens were communicating was through a bunch of sort of video or audio messages
Yeah.
sent in Latin, and like they were supposed to draw up a demonic presence or bring forth a demonic presence, and Josh ended up saying something like, "Yeah, now I can add Ghost and Demon Hunter to my CV at the end." I thought that was sort of cute.
Yeah, but to me, it was just a.
They didn't do the go. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, to me, it just there wasn't a solid story there. It was a bit of a wishy-washy.
You wanted them to have like a ghost catcher and
I just wanted a better story, to be honest.
a little bit of school or something.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry, Roy Gill, because that's the guy who wrote it. But yeah, just I'm really on it today. Sorry, Big Finish.
Yep. Oh,
But there always comes a time when you get something what disappoints.
when you're not happy with things, yeah. And then the third story was the Sontaran Project.
Yeah.
And that one starred Dan Starkey playing a lot of things.
Sontarans.
A lot of things, a lot of different characters. And then
I mean, I like the idea of someone capturing a Sontaran, and because he's a clone race, producing more Sontarans from the DNA stuff, the genetics.
and marrying some of it with human DNA because that's what we have abundance of, and
Yeah.
need to
The
have
story.
blocks, right?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. But then the story. I mean, only that you only found that out near the end of the story, anyway.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was just another treading slowly, not getting anywhere by the end of it. I'm not knocking any. The actors in this are all brilliant. In all the stories are brilliant. I'm not knocking Gemma Redgrave. I'm not knocking Ingrid Oliver or Ramon Tikaram. All brilliant actors. It's just I don't know. I mean, they're only to do so much with what they're given.
Right. Okay. And then this last one had they stepped into the mirror universe, and it's the one with sort of the evil side of unit, like
Well, as Kate as good Kate asked, did the bad Kate have an eye patch? It's just a family story that's been passed down.
yeah. And so that so they kind of knew where they were going, at least Kate did, and they also, Josh and Osgood were partnered in one universe and definitely antagonistic in the other. And so it was fun. That was sort of like a Shakespearean sort of back and forth and back and forth and back and forth, kind of parallel editing and telling the story from the two different perspectives and the different, you know, who ended up with who kind of thing. And then there was, you know, there was I mean, this, it was almost like there was like this, like the one that we're going to talk about, the next thing that we're going to talk about in our podcast discussions today, we're going to talk about Rebel Without a Cause, and there's like a love triangle in that, and like there's,
Mhm.
and this one, you know, you kind of see that starting, but then the other Kate and the other, or excuse me, the other Osgood and the other Josh, you know, get a little awkward about it and then walk away. It's such a British ending. Oh my gosh. I was just like, oh, come on, catch him, Snog, come on. We're just, Snog him, gives his face off. Come on.
Yeah, this story, because being so disappointed with the previous three, I wasn't expecting much from this one.
No, I guess not. I guess your expectations were pretty low by that.
Low, yeah. I think, oh, here we go. This is the fourth story, and but right from right from the start, it was an amazing story. You know, Gemma Redgrave playing the bad Kate and the good Kate, and we had, you know, the two Osgoods and the two.
But you know, now there'd be like 4 Osgoods, right? One Zygon, one human.
Yeah.
One Zygon, one human in the other universe. Jesus, whatever.
But this one was so well written. This is John Dorney who wrote this.
Oh, so much stuff.
Yeah, he knows how, comedy.
Yeah, he does like comedy.
Comedy. This was brilliant, and the action and the storytelling. So yeah, for me, this is the outstanding one of the box set. This is the last story. I'm sad to, I'm sad to say the 3 stories before it. I don't know, but people out there must be loved it. But
yeah,
it's me.
Yep, I agree. And so, well, I agree that the third one or the fourth one was really, really good. I thought that the third one was great. I thought that the second one was interesting. I loved how they had spoken Latin, which, you know, that always seems like it's going to bring up something, you know. And then they talked about the exorcism and like the way that they were gonna have to repair that situation, and the fact that, you know, nobody could get the words out in time, and like that was all that was the exciting time, you know, the big moment. And then
I mean, there's no, for these 4 stories, as far as I can tell and listen to, there was no connection between each story. There was no arc.
yeah, all right. I just thought that the
Um,
Daleks were sort of forcing these 3.
but for these 4 stories, to
Daleks themselves are cloned race too, kind of thing.
yeah. I mean, every box set may have one Duff story,
Yeah.
but this one for me had 3.
Um,
So I think for me it was a bit of a the stories were a bit mixed.
so
Maybe
I'm sorry, you'll never get that time back, but I really feel for you, man.
yeah, but if there was no story arcs for each story thing, why have, for me personally, have 3 naff stories and 1 great one? Why didn't they take all them 3 stories and put them in another box set and have some other story to go along with this one?
Yeah.
You know, not because they must have known some of these stories were naff. I'm sorry to say.
I don't know. I think sometimes the creators just think that what they do is great.
Well, yeah, I think what they do is great, but I'm really disappointed with this one. Getting angry now. I don't know. Well, I mean, to have the 4 great box sets before it, and then you just take a dive with this one, and then you just have a little slight upwards for the last story.
Yeah, I see your point.
Anyway, that's my whinging and moaning for the day.
Yeah. And, so do you want to just rate it? And
Well, I can't think of any favourite sort of moments what come to mind, unless you have any.
well, I like I said, I really like the Sontarans being cloned because of in sort of that laboratory kind of way, and that how weird they all turned out, but like how they
Unit had to work together with the Sontarans,
yeah.
which I liked about that. That was one of the good things about the story.
Yeah. And the other thing, the second story, I liked all the Latin and the invocation, cousin and stuff like that, and so that was fun. And the first story, the first story was a little challenging for me to like, so yes, I guess that one I wouldn't go very far with. But, the fourth story was back and forth, and the funniness and kind of the same attitudes that there was a unit on both in both universes, and
Yeah.
I think that bore out because even though the planet was destroyed in that one mirror universe with the eye patches, there there was another universe that was quite a bit closer to this one, in connecting the, like, through the ghost portal or whatever that was. Yeah, so I was like that, like I saw that these little connectors between the stories. But yeah, I'm sorry, it's so hot in here. Oh my gosh, it's sweltering.
I know what that feels like.
It's out there. And and our heroes getting together was just amusing as heck. Since they in the other one, in the Prime universe, let's say, let's call it the Prime universe, because like that's actually become sort of like a way of describing it. Osgood and Joshua weren't lovers and weren't, preparing to marry each other and weren't
bedding each other.
Weren't really, and were really awkward about that connectivity that the other ones had.
Yeah.
And when the other ones would go up to them and smooch them, they'd be like, "Oh, I don't know what to do." The awkwardness was classic, and the fact that they almost went there at the end, they didn't. But that was just great, you know. There was a lot more to it, but yeah, and it was, I mean, it was kind of a nebulous name, Encounters, but yeah, let's see. Um, that's really it. I let me check and make sure that there's like, yeah, John Darney wrote the fourth one, and okay. It was directed by Ken Bentley and script edited by Matt Fitton
Yeah.
and sound designed by well, Howard Carter, Ian Meadows, Benji Clifford, and Daniel Burnett. And they did great as usual. I like the footsteps in the dark room where you hear echoing. They do such amazing work. And the Daleks were played by, of course, or our one Dalek was played by Nick Briggs again, and
As always.
yep, he does a good job. And Ramon Tinkeram played Colonel Shindy. And Matthew Cottle played the Overseer. And Barnaby Edwards actually did the satellite voice. And so that was cool.
All right.
Well, Beth Goddard, David Johnson, James Joyce, James Wolby also. And so, yeah, all of those people were involved. And so I guess that's all the shout outs I want to make for this. And if you feel the same way that Lee does, I would just suggest that you would put your thoughts in the comments. But I'd like to know what he thinks of this in terms of a numerical value. And so here we go, please.
Oh, this is a difficult one. If it was just for that final story, the final story would have got an 8.
Oh, okay.
But for the full box set,
Yeah.
because the other 3 stories were so disappointing. This is maybe 4.5.
Okay.
But as I said, scoring the last story, but for the full range of it, not that good.
All right. And for my final sitting score, I think it was. I think it was better than Lee thought it was, but it's just.
I said you would.
Me, and the fact that we have different opinions on this podcast, that goes into play a lot, and
Yeah.
so I would give it. I'd give it an 8 out of 10 for the whole thing. I enjoyed it. I fought with my cat through it. I mean, the story itself was keeping me interested, but the fight to keep hearing it was maybe, I mean, I thought it was worth it. So yeah, that's where I stand in that. And then I'd like to thank Lee for slogging through that. Sorry, mate. Um, we'll choose something different for in a fortnight, okay? And
It'll be longer than that because you're on holiday, remember?
that's right. I'll be a while. And um, so please do like and subscribe. Hit the bell notification button, and please do give Lee a message if you want to join us. All you gotta have is a camera, microphone, something to do it on, Zoom, do it with, and you should probably be 18 because we don't agree sometimes. Well, a lot of the time, when we don't agree, then there's a whole issue of heated discussions and swearing and all that other junk that goes on. So we gotta be 18. Sorry about that, but that's the rules. And yeah, if you want to pull your hair out and stuff and tell Lee that you absolutely hated this thing too, why don't you do that? Just do that in the comments. Just tell him how right he is. And tell me I fucked up. Right?
I'm always right.
Oh, jeez. And yeah, so yeah, because I'm taking a couple of weeks off, Lee might take a couple of weeks off and just find something fun to do in the on his weekends without doing this, or you might do this anyway. You might find other people to do this with. If you feel like you're filling in all this extra time, go ahead and get in touch with them. Anyway, and I'm sure that if you ask really nicely, he'll show you a picture of him in his suit at his friend's wedding. He's pretty good. So yeah, and that's pretty much it for us.
Yeah.
Thanks for watching. Bye.